Before we begin, thank you very much to Sammy Sinner for joining the Patreon campaign. Very appreciated. Thank you very much for your support. And welcome, everyone, to a new look for Here's 10. Same format, fresh coat of paint. Hope you all like it. But I thought this would be an appropriate time to do a complete redo because, frankly, last year you saw all these graphics and intros long enough. You deserve to have something a little bit fresh going forward with this series. And no better place to start than the top 10 toys of 2024. Transformers had an absolutely loaded 2024. There's so many good toys that could not make the list because, frankly, just so many of them were so impressive this time out. So, I'm sorry if your favorites didn't make the list, but ultimately, this is my personal opinion. These are my preferences, so I've only got spots for 10. Also, remember, this is not the top 10 of every year, which means I don't have rules here. If it came out in 2024, I don't care if it's a repaint from 1984. It's still fair game. So with that, let's get going. These are the top 10 Transformers of 2024. This one's going to be very low for a lot of you out there, but frankly, I thought this one could have been done a lot better, but it's still very, very good and very, very impressive. Studio Series 86 Swoop completes the Dinobot project years in the making in very, very solid style, doing everything I would expect a modern, large-scale Swoop toy to do. Looks fantastic in both of his modes. He can do all the things I want in Pteranodon mode. Comes with extra swords to load up the rest, to load up Grimlock with his full armament. He's only number 10, despite being my favorite of the vintage Dinobots. He is only number 10 because I do feel like he's missing the magic that the other Studio Series Dinobots created. The transformation is a little bit too straightforward. There's a couple things on mine that could have been done a little bit better. Things like that do kind of hurt the overall experience, but still absolutely acknowledging that the toy itself, dead solid, looks fantastic, makes a beautiful display on a shelf with the other four Dinobots. I mean, it took a long time for them to get there, but I'm glad they finally did. Swoop is a worthy addition to the team, even if it doesn't hit the same as the others. Still a really good, really solid toy. Deserves to be on the list. From one of the largest 86 figures to one of the smallest. I don't agree with the pricing, but if you can justify it, that Bumblebee is really, really good. This is doing everything that I wanted the last Bumblebee toy to do. It looks far more cartoon accurate in shape and proportion. The vehicle mode is appropriately cute and cartoonish, hitting this interesting balance between cartoon accurate and copyright free. And it also does the one thing that annoyed me so much with the previous Bumblebee molds. It keeps everything on the toy itself. There's no shield piece that comes off. It's also just a really clever, fun transformation. The toy, for what it's doing and for its size, feels really, really nice. And the transformation is really, really clever. It's one of those transformations where I kind of go, you know what? I can see where the budget might be a little bit more complicated on this. I will give it to you that this toy should be a little more than his size lets on. Do wish he had come up with a little bit more to make up for the cost difference, but you know what? I will acknowledge that the toy is very, very good, and that it is very, very fun to mess with. And yeah, it looks really nice in a collection of 86 figures. Again, I'm going to harp on the size forever, but I cannot deny the toy is very, very well designed, well made, very fun to mess with. Are you ready to go back to the other side of the size spectrum? Because that's what's going to happen. Let's talk about Tidal Wave, this year's Titan class figure. Now, you know me, if you've been watching this channel long enough, I was championing for Tidal Wave to be a Titan, because I think his most memorable moments are when he is gargantuan, in particular, the Armada video game. And the toy itself is very, very good. I love the detail on it. I love the scaling on it. He looks phenomenal. And yes, I even like the solution they had so he can still combine with Megatron or Galvatron. I know a lot of people are not happy with how that decision came out. I'm going to repeat it until the day I die. If this had come out as a commander that did the original combining, you would not be happy with it because it would look ridiculous and weigh down Megatron too much for him to do anything. I think the solution is exactly what it needed to be. He's only number 8 because, yes, this toy does suffer some common QC issues. For me, the biggest thing about him is that the troop carrier portion of the Dark Fleet does not lock together well. Despite having 2 tabs and clips that are supposed to hold it together, it falls apart very, very easily. So that was a downside that really hurt the experience for me. But beyond that, I do enjoy what this is doing. The base mode is silly and pointless, but I do still love the individual vehicles. I love the combined vehicle a lot, and he's a very imposing figure on a toy shelf. So yes, I got what I wanted. I'm happy with it. Could it have been better? Yes, it could have. Every toy could have been. This is just down to QC issues. Otherwise, I probably would have put him in the top 3. But I'm still going to acknowledge everything it did right, and I'm going to put him on the list. Now, if you've been following the channel long enough, this entry should be absolutely no surprise to you whatsoever because, yes, I'm a fanboy for Transformers Cybertron, and there is one design in particular I love more than any other. That is Starscream, and I think the Voyager Class toy they did absolutely excels. I love that they fixed the only thing I had a problem with on the original, in the fact that it's just not articulated enough. But again, that was a mid-2000s toy. I did not expect it to be highly articulated. It just looked really good and functioned really well. This one is doing a lot more. The articulation is fantastic. I love the change in the engineering in order to make a little bit room for more. I like the modular aspect to his like wing gun sections, so you can play around with them a little bit more and do some things that the show did, like extend them to his forearms that the original toy can never do. On top of that, the articulation is fantastic. The transformation is good. I love that it comes with a cyber key that has a couple of uses, even if it doesn't unlock any gimmicks. Yeah, for a retail version of this design, I think this is just about flawless for me, outside of maybe some extra paint. But then again, you know, modern Transformers don't get a whole lot. I'm happy he's as painted as he is. We'll leave customizers to fill in the rest. But that said, this for me was a picture-perfect update. At least as picture-perfect as I could justify at a $35 price point. He looks really good. I'm aware of the repaint that's rumored to be coming out this year. I'm super excited for that. But until then, this is a very worthy toy on the shelf, and I am still continuing to enjoy messing around with it to this day. I feel like a year from now, when all of the Project T-Spark stuff starts really hitting, I feel like Takara is going to take this list by storm because they're doing some really crazy things. But the first volley into all of Takara's brand new stuff did hit in 2024, and it left a huge impression. Let's talk about Missing Link Convoy. I love the idea because it's an idea I have been championing for a long, long time. Let us take the original Transformer toys and add the articulation we wish they always had. And this feels perfect. You know, we've replaced the stickers with tampagraphs and painted sculpted detail. We've added as much articulation as the original G1 Optimus Prime could possibly hold. And on top of all of that, he maintains the exact same transformation structure, so it feels exactly like the toy from 1984, but then you can move it around and mess with it and pose it, and it's phenomenal. It's an absolute blast of a toy. And for those who grew up with the original, and for those who have known that Optimus Prime mold for a long, long time, for decades, the experience of messing with this figure is so weird on the brain. because it's such a familiarity that should not be doing what it's doing. It's weird. It's super weird on the brain, but guess what? Makes it really good. Makes it really fun. I'm excited for all the missing Link stuff. Still waiting on my Bumblebee and Cliff to ship. I know those got to a lot of people. Really looking forward to Sunstreaker. RC makes so many things possible. I think Missing Link is going to be like my new masterpiece go-to as far as like high quality Transformers doing stuff that is normally never possible. Yeah, this was a phenomenal showing. A dream come true for a lot of people who are really wanting the nostalgia with the modern aesthetic designs as well. Perfect blend for the start of a brand new toy line from Takara, and I am thrilled with it. Here's the portion of the top 10 where I get to cheat a little bit because these guys were all released in a multi-pack, but I do think it is a very, very good one. Let's talk about Dino King, shall we? Let's take all the core class Dinobots and do exactly what everyone knew was going to happen, retooling them into the Dino Force from Transformers Victory. We knew that was pretty much going to be the case as soon as we saw Slug becoming the torso and they added an Ankylosaurus. That just sealed the deal. But you know what? Worth it. Absolutely worth it. It wasn't enough to just repaint those toys. They resculpted everyone to match the original G1 characters, and then gave you a whole bunch more to improve the combined mode. Brand new weapons, you got brand new feet and fists. You got a lot of stuff to actually enhance what those toys were already doing. So on top of the fact that, you know, most of those little core class toys are decent little desktop fiddle figures. Now we add in the pleasure of they are vintage characters that normally have never get brand new toys, and we're going to upgrade everything at the same time. Which, you know what? I think that makes a little bump in the price point to get a hold of this guy absolutely worth it. This is a really, really fun set with some very deserved characters finally getting another round of toys. Now, I could wish for a larger set so they scaled better to Star Saber and the rest, but I'm not going to be greedy right now. For the moment, I'm happy that they came out. I'm happy they're as good as they are. I mean, it is an absolute pleasure to experience these toys. So, yeah, good on Hasbro for finally putting these out. And yeah, it's worth the wait. Love this set. From a dinosaur combiner to a dinosaur combiner. Because the Commander class took everyone by surprise, me included, because I famously said in a video this toy wouldn't be possible anymore. We gotta talk Magmatron. This is a fantastic toy. I didn't think it was possible because the design is so complex. You've got so many colors going into it, so many things these toys have to do. I genuinely thought it wasn't possible to release anymore, even at Commander class, because it hadn't shown anything from Commander that really justified what this toy required. But then Hasbro goes and proves me wrong. And I didn't even think that, like, for starters, like, it's kind of an obscure character. You know, the only sightings of this in release was during Beast Machines. You know, this is just a surprise for, you know, for everything. For how well it came out and the fact they did it at all. And yeah, it's really, really good. It's a fantastic figure that does everything Magmatron is supposed to do. Makes it a very worthwhile piece for a collection. Very, very cool centerpiece for your Kingdom Beast Wars toys. I can't say enough good things. This is why it's high up on the list, and it's why it made a lot of people's absolute #1. For my part, there are some toys I did enjoy more as an experience, but for me, yeah, this is still really, really good, and a toy I never thought was possible. But here we are. It's a highly articulated, very well upgraded Magmatron, and it still does everything he's supposed to do. And, I'm still eating crow about it. Now, one thing about these releases is I unfortunately only have the toys that I experienced this year to talk about. So I understand there are masterpiece toys and some limited exclusives that I'm just not aware of and I've not had in hand to discuss. And this one was almost part of it. But Hasbro put on a nice sale. It was still in stock. I can talk about Masterpiece Rhinox. Such a good toy. Rhinox has had a couple of modern attempts that didn't really hit the nail. The Thrilling 30 had some articulation issues, very loose in some spots, and it didn't have the wide chest, even though it had the right build. The Kingdom one is far more an upgrade of the original toy than it is a match to the original Beast Wars character from the cartoon. I was starting to think this wasn't possible, and then Takara went and made this gorgeous beast. Literally. Yeah, it does everything I would like a Rhinox toy to do. It's highly articulated. It's got the right accessories for him, including a first time ever, a toy of an actual Spark. Because one scene in the show had him holding a Spark. He's got the chain guns of doom, only one of which fits in his gut oddly enough, but they are very well done, right down to the wooden handles that he had in the show. Yeah, and the transformation, considering it is a Beast Wars masterpiece, the transformation is complicated, but it's the type of complicated that flows well. And I feel like I could get to know this figure if I transform it a couple times more and then have no issue transforming it ever again, which is something I can't say about some of the masterpieces I've experienced over the years. But for what it's doing a really, really good job. It is just a spot-on Rhinox that I was starting to think was not doable. I'm very happy I picked it up. Has me excited for Rat Trap to complete the main 5 Maximals of the cartoon. So fingers crossed that one turns out as well as it looks like it's going to come out, because this Rhinox took me from maybe I should sell off my Beast Wars Maximals to I need to go back and get Tigatron for this set now. It's that good of a toy. It's making me regret skipping a lot of those Masterpiece Beast Wars now. On previous lists, this one would be cheating because the toy is a retool of a previous one. In fact, a previous top 10 of the year toy that I've already discussed. But when it remolds itself this much and it comes out this good, I have to talk about it again. Let us talk about the Fractured Friendship Orion packs, retooled from the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime that I already absolutely love as a toy. This one does everything better. It just does. For starters, the gun has a handle. Oh my god, the gun actually has a handle now. But other than that, the transformation is still fantastic. I love that the vehicle mode's doing the thing I love Optimus Primes to do, which is to create some semblance of his trailer without actually having a trailer piece separate. And all of it kind of collapses into the legs, which are now a little bit taller thanks to the new feet pieces, which helps the proportions. The smaller shoulders also help the proportions of this toy to the point where they're just like, chef's kiss spot on. He still stands really strong and powerful without looking quite as squat as the War for Cybertron version did. Articulation is still fantastic. Paint is great. The look of the toy is great. You've still got the Matrix in the chest, even though he's Orion Pax. We'll ignore that little part for now. You know, it's almost the Stormbringer Optimus Prime, which is a fantastic Optimus Prime design, but still Orion technically, and I will take it for as such because it's still such a good toy. This is one that the more I picked it up and the more I messed with it, the more I just enjoyed it. This toy clicked with me so hard, and it took me a while to even realize why this toy hit me so much harder than the Gamer Edition version did. Not quite the #1 of the year, but oh my god, I had such a hard time putting him in #2. I swear, he's this close. But I really cannot deny what the #1 toy of the year is, and this should come as to no surprise to anybody. Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime is everything I think a retail level Optimus Prime can be without being crazy expensive. He comes with the accessories that I want. He comes with the full loadout of the trailer. It's not like the Earthrise version where he's skipping out on like roller and some basic details inside the trailer. All of that is included. The robot mode is fantastic. The proportions are spot on. I love how he looks. Transformation. It's the level of complexity that I find really, really enjoyable to mess with, because it's doing a lot of really complex motions, but all of them go in such a smooth, like logical way. It's a very, intuitive toy. So the complexity does not really overshadow just the experience of the transformation. And then phenomenal range of articulation. Absolutely nails the look in all regards. Jeez, I couldn't say enough good things. I know some people are kind of frustrated with the price point because, he comes with a hollow box, and, look at what other Commander Class toys have done. But you know what? It's a definitive Optimus Prime. It really is. You could maybe get a little bit of that backpack thinned down. Maybe there's a little bit more that it could possibly do. But I really feel like any improvements you could make beyond this are nitpick at best. There is nothing about this toy that should be a deal breaker for anybody. Not to say that, there isn't valid criticism. It's all about what you enjoy with, as a toy. But for me, this is everything I ever wanted an Optimus Prime to be. I'm very happy to call it the best Transformer of 2024. And I am thrilled. I am thrilled to actually own it, and hope that future commanders like this are just more the same, because this just did so much in just the right way. And that is going to do it. My top 10 Transformers of the year 2024. Obviously, there is room for debate. Obviously, I didn't put your favorite at the top. I know you're a Magmatron fan. I know the missing link was super, super special to you. And you're free to tell me in the comments below. It's just opinion here. Everyone's is different, and they're all valid. So feel free to discuss in the comments while keeping civil about it. And as always, I will see you next time. You've been waiting a long time, haven't you? But the wait's almost over. You're about to meet the brightest star in the universe. We're going to make an impact.